say your name and spell it for us?
My name is Paul Winfield, Paulwinfield.
Paul, tell me about today's demonstration and what message you guys are hoping to send.
Today's demonstration is about memorializing the children and the faculty that passed away in the events last week in Nashville. And today is about starting a conversation for people to bring home how important this conversation. It's very taboo to talk about school shootings in a school. But what this is for, and this happening nationally, to start that conversation for our parents and for us, because one day we will be able to vote. I'll be able to vote next year, and they will be able to vote. I think you're 18 now. So we'll be able to vote, and we should be treated as such. So this is what that's about. Thank you.
And so this was not really school sanctioned, but you guys, I guess administration got wind of it and they allowed you guys to do this?
Administration approved it. So, yeah. The administration knew, we let them know, they were involved in the planning of everything. So yes, our administration was involved.
Anybody else want to say something? You want to say something? You like you're anxious to talk. What's your name?
My name is Keisha Green, KEASHIAGREENE.
And tell me about what you hope that comes out of today's demonstration.
I hope that this is taken more seriously because a lot of students and teenagers around the nation, they don't take this serious enough. It's almost a joke to them, and I hope this spreads awareness that it needs to, and we come to reality that this is a real problem.
What do you think needs to be done in terms of limiting guns in schools across the country and having, you want to say something? Sounds like you want to chime in on that.
I just want to say that this wasn't to be very political. This is just to raise awareness. Yes. We wanted to show people like this is what we're here for, the victims. We're not here for the politics.
What's your name?
Kira Pritchard, KYRAPRITCHARD.
You want to say something?
Yeah, sure, if you have a question.
I guess my question to her was going to be, like, what do you think needs to be done so that school shootings like what happened in Nashville last week will stop?
What I think needs to be done is just to bring awareness to this whole situation, not like we did today, not involving the politics, not involving the politicians, not involving Congress at all, just bringing awareness, us as kids, us as high school students, trying to do something, trying to bring something to our community to let them know that this is an actual problem and that something needs to be done about it. No, nothing involving violence at all.
Well, I mean, but it's a problem. How do you think, obviously it's going to take the politicians to solve the problem. I know. I know.
Yeah.
I'm getting in the weeds. What's your name?
Brooke Steed.
Spell that for me.
BROOKESTEED.
Now, Paul, in your email that you sent out, you said that you guys want local, state, and national leaders, politicians, to do something. What do you think needs to be done to stop this epidemic of school shooting?
I think that they know what needs to be done, and I think that we live in a society where it is inherent that we have to go to school. Mass shootings are not something that we can avoid. It's not something that we can forget about or not think about when we walk into a school building every day. So this demonstration was more to show how passionately we care about this issue, and also to send imagery and show people how important this is to us. And I think that our politicians will get the message.
Paul, you also mentioned that you're almost the age of voting. Is your message to these politicians, we are watching what you're doing and we are ready to vote you out if you do not make the correct move?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we are going to be able to vote. We are going to vote. And we're saying that when we vote, this will be a top of mind issue. And it's important that they take these issues as important and as passionately as we take
That's
them.
what we're saying. We're not involving any type of politician critics. You know what people say on social media. We're involving this of the importance of what we think is right. Not involving politics, not involving Congress, not involving the government. What we're saying as the compassionate of 4 human beings that have been seeing this going on for years and years at time, to take this as what comes to the heart. We're not involving politics or anything that has to deal with what you asked Paul about voting, and what Congress and trying to get the word out. We're just doing this because we know it's wrong. We have humanity, we have hearts, and the children and faculty at that innocent school did not deserve this at all. That's what we're saying. We don't want to involve, not saying that we should, but we do not want to involve politics. Like compassion, heart, humanity. For every school shooting that has happened in Tennessee that just happened recently.
And sort of what she said, what Brooke said, it is about humanity. I mean, this year alone, there have been almost 40 school shootings and over a dozen fatalities and injuries. This is something that we're having to deal with in the present, and making sure that we are the last generation of school shootings. That's why we're here. And raising awareness is a big part of that. Making sure that our state leaders and our national and local leaders understand how passionately we feel about it. But I'm not going to make a political statement. But what I am going to say is I think that they know what the issue is. And I think that we all know, all the people that you saw in the hallways, they know what the issue is. And they will be able to vote soon. Now, I'm not saying who they'll vote for. I'm not saying what to vote for, but I'm saying this is an issue that many young people here in Mississippi, here in Vicksburg, care about, and it should be taken seriously.
You said they know what the issue is, so what is the issue?
The issue is mass shootings, and the issue is school shootings, and gun violence. Gun violence is the #1 killer of young people in this country. Over car wrecks, over cancer, it's school shootings, and in a lot of ways it can be avoided, but we're here more for the children that died in Nashville over last week.
And so you don't want to tell me what do you think those politicians need to do to stop the epidemic of mass shootings?
I do think that there are some common sense controls that they can do, and I think that it's important for them to do so. But I think that the issue at this point, people know about it. I think that the onus is on them to actually do something. What we're here for is to represent my student body, our school, and the millions of young people in this country that will be voting and feel very passionately about this. Is an issue that people care about, and this demonstration was about that. So we'll see what politicians do, but these things aren't going to stop on their own. And I think that it's important for our national leaders and our state leaders to do something.
And you were talking about heart and humanity. Just talk about how difficult it is to see this happen.
It's extremely difficult. It's not enough for us anymore to just look past it, because it's unavoidable. We're only a state away from the mass shooting that happened last week, and they're happening across the country. Like I said earlier, there were almost 40 school shootings so far this year, and there's likely to be more, and over a dozen. This is something that doesn't stop on its own, and we're putting the onus on our leaders, and more importantly, bringing this conversation home to our parents and to our families to have a real discussion about mass shootings and school shootings in this country. We're not able to not come to school. We're not able to avoid these places. This is for a lot of us our home. We spend about as much time at school as we do at home, so it's important to make sure people feel safe, and a lot of people don't feel safe. So I think that there's things that our politicians will do, but more than that, it's about memorializing the people that died and keeping them front of mind, because these are people. I mean, it's more than just a statistic.